Hi guys, how's it going? I wanted to do a review of the Mercedes 2016 C300. I've had this car for about 2.5 months now, and I just wanted to do a review that goes over some things that professional reviewers usually don't go through, and some of the things I've noticed that you might not have heard about in case you're considering buying this car. So I'm just going to keep it to the interior. I'm going to focus on the driver's side. I'm going to look a little bit at the passenger side as well. So to start with, got the push to start. Works really nicely. I haven't had any problem with it. You can push it once to the electronics, or you can hold the brakes and push it to turn on the engine. So once the electronics are turned on, you get this nice instrument cluster. Nothing really amazing, but it looks nice. You've got a pretty big display that'll show you things like trip information, navigation, radio, media, all these other things. Now, one quirk I've noticed with it is that if you hit the phone button while you're not in the telephone menu, it's not going to do anything. So if you want to make a call, for example, and I'm in the trip menu and I hit that button, nothing happens. Now, of course, you can use it to pick up phone calls if you're getting them without having to navigate to the telephone menu, but to make a call, you have to go to the telephone menu, hit the button, and then it'll show you your contacts. So that's just a tiny quirk. Other than that, I think everything here works perfectly. Navigation looks nice. You can control your media, your radio. This assistant graphic really isn't useful unless you have the intelligent drive mode package. But it'll just show you, like, how long you've been driving, if you need to pull over for coffee and things like that. So that's the instrument cluster. I want to take a little bit of time to talk about the shifter. Now, Mercedes moved the shifter up to the steering wheel in this model, and a lot of people are complaining about that, and I was one of the people who was a little bit worried about having that shifter right there, but I gotta say, after a few months of owning this car, I really like it. It's got that luxurious feel to it. If you're pulling out of a driveway in reverse, and you have just one hand on the steering wheel, you can just easily switch it to drive. The park button is on the side here, so it's pretty easy to put it in park. The only downside is you don't have anything down here to rest your hand on if you're like me and you like driving with your hand on the shifter. So that's the only downside, but I think, I don't think you're gonna dislike it once you've gotten used to it. Now, moving on to the driver's side. You've got your power windows. They work great. They feel really nice. Nothing's loose there. Really high quality build. You've got your driver's seat, your adjustable driver's seat buttons here. You can move your headrest up and down. You can move all these other things. That works great. You've got your memory seats, so if there's another driver, you can just push that and it'll move the steering wheel, the mirrors, and everything else to that other driver. I'm going to just revert it back here. I have the Burmeister sound system on this car, and that is something that I recommend you get without thinking. I didn't try the base version, but I did try it on an older model, and it was just horrible. I've read all kinds of reviews about how horrible it is on this model as well. So the Burmeister system isn't the best system, but it's pretty good compared to like the 5 Series I've got here with the Harman Kardon audio system. This system is really good. I think it's probably better than BMW's premium sound system, but it really just depends on what kind of music you listen to. But in general, it works great. Going back here and looking at the Audio 20, so this car doesn't have the multimedia package, it has just the basic screen. It's pretty hard to use, but once you get used to it, again, it's going to be pretty easy. You have all these options here. If you hit the star button, that takes you back to the menu, the star button right here. and you can pick out of all of these options. Usually I'm on, radio or media. Once you're in the certain section, oops, sorry about that. So once you're in the radio section, for example, of course this car comes with satellite radio and a couple other radio options. So if you hit radio again, so there are buttons here that basically shortcuts to where you are or where you want to be. So if you hit radio again, you'll see, your radio options. Internet radio does not work. I think it's a subscription-based service, and I just haven't signed up for it. But you get all these options. Same thing for media. If you go into media, you can hit it twice and get all these options: Bluetooth, media, all these other options. You've got two USB ports that are in the center console here. So mine's a little bit messy, but you can see I've got one in there. There's an SD card slot and another USB port. Now be warned, you won't be able to use the SD card slot if you have navigation, because the navigation uses the SD card slot. So I hit navigation here, and this comes with the Garmin Map Pilot, which you have to purchase separately. But it works pretty well for me. I've seen negative reviews about it. I think it works nicely. It's, I've read about it being slow or, unable to calculate routes, but it works pretty nicely. The voice control is pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and try to give it a command here. So see if that works.
Please speak a command.
Find place.
Say the name of a popular place.
Starbucks.
Searching for Starbucks.
There you go.
Select a line.
Cancel. So I haven't had any issues with it recognizing my voice, and no complaints there. The system works nicely overall. It's just really hard to learn at first. You've got all these buttons down here, but once you've got it down, you can switch to telephone, vehicle settings, and I just discovered that you can create shortcuts, and that was like 2 days ago. But if I'm in like radio, and I like satellite radio so much I want it to have its own icon, I can just hold that star button down here, and it'll just tell me, where do you want to put. Actually, I guess for radio it saves a channel, so I can just save hits 1 right here, and it'll just drop it in, and now I can hit it and it'll take me to hits 1. I think there's a way to also see like the icon of the station, but I'm not sure how that works. Let's see. So you can see the system is pretty cluttered. I mean, you have all these options, and then you have another options button, and you can pick what you'd like to do. But I think you can hit like maybe info. There we go. And then you can just see info on the station you're on. So moving down, the air vents work really nicely. One thing a lot of people fail to mention in their reviews is that little click when it's centered. So you can easily center it if you're, like me, a little bit OCD about your car looking perfect. If somebody moves them all like that, you can just click them all back into place. Nice touch on Mercedes. You have the analog clock, which works really nicely and automatically sets itself based on the time of the car, and it automatically updates with time zone and daylight saving changes. Now down here you got this little wooden panel you can push in, and it'll open up slow and nice. You've got your cup holder, and then there's an ashtray here that you can actually remove and get all this space. And I can put my wallet in it, or just basic cards and trash. And it comes with the lighter. The touchpad, I like it a lot. On the 2017s they added that, I think, as a separate package. On the 2016s it was standard. It's really nice to use. I'm gonna try to, no, I won't be able to, but you can swipe up and down, left and right. You can use multi-touch. You can swipe up with 2 fingers and it will show you the current track. You can push it inside, and then you have the same buttons that you have down here. So if I hit that star button here, it'll take me to the menu. I can swipe, so right now I'm just swiping, and I can keep my finger on, and it'll just kind of act like a scroll bar on an iPhone. Got your dynamic select, which lets you switch into sport mode or sport plus, and you've got the volume. Sorry about that. And you got your volume button, your volume knob, which is placed in kind of an awkward position. I like it, but when I have passengers here, it's just kind of weird going like that. It's, you know, a lot of times you'll end up like touching them or something. But I mean, you know, it's not a bad icebreaker. You've got the power button, which will basically just turn off the screen. And then you've got your automatic on and off, which I hate, and you have to turn it off every single time you turn the car on. So be prepared to kind of get used to turning it off, or else the car will just turn itself off if you stop. Center console, we already kind of went over that, but it feels pretty nice. It moves a little bit when you push it in, but can't complain too much. Passenger side, you know, you've got the same seat adjusters, except that they don't have the little leg extender option, and their headrest isn't automatic, so they've got to adjust the headrest from over here. But overall, no big deal. I've had people try to push on the headrest button and you know, almost break it because they thought it should work, until I learned that it doesn't, and it's manual. Moving back, I'm just trying to figure out anything that I haven't covered. This thing right here, it looks like an air vent, but apparently according to the manual it works as a card holder. So if you are in a drive-through and you want to keep your card here so that you can just hand it up right away, you can just put it in there. Sorry about the lighting. And then the headlight adjustments, which you just basically keep on auto unless you need to turn them on manually or do something different. But overall, great car, really like it. If you guys have any questions, let me know. If you want me to do a review of the exterior or maybe the back and the trunk, let me know as well. I'd be happy to do it. Thank you for watching.